Welcome to Trek Trav. I'm Trav, and today we're discussing Star Trek Picard Season 3, Episode, I believe it's 5, Imposters. And what an episode. Hope you stick around, like, subscribe, and come back after this. So, after last week's story, I thought maybe they'd be winding down on the Titan stuff and we may be getting to more like Geordi stuff. We've got Worf and Raffi trying to get to another person that is connected with the Daystrom stuff being stolen. On the Titan itself, we've got the Federation coming. Riker hands over command. And then when the ship comes, we get Commander Ro Laren. Now, I did not even think Ro Laren would pop up. I don't think there was any mention of Ro Laren popping up. It was really quite surprising. It was just like, okay, well, she's here now. And Michelle Forbes is, I'm so glad that she came back for this, even though, we won't get into spoilers, but even though. And her relationship with Picard, I didn't think it ended that badly, but clearly in Picard's mind it did.
She seemed very sure that she was doing the right thing. I think her only regret was that she let you down.
From TNG, she'd obviously left to go and help the Marquis, and Picard had obviously been disappointed in what she had chosen. And that's very much shown in this episode. There's a little bit of tension. Also because you can't trust who's a changeling and who's not at this point. And that's very much stretched throughout the episode in terms of just the narrative. You don't know who to trust and who not to. This new ship turning up and Jack still having visions, or I'm thinking it's a Manchurian Candidate sort of thing going on, where he's been programmed to do something at a later point. It's not a hot take, but that seems to be where they're going. So Ro Laren's talking to Picard, and they're sort of testing each other out, even if it isn't Ro Laren. Like, he goes, "You're not wearing your earring," and she sort of, there's enough emotion there that you sort of go, "No, I think this is the Ro Laren." I also, from the beginning, sort of thought they're not going to bring back Michelle Forbes as Ro Laren and then she's a changeling. I think that would have really, why bring in that emotional beat if that's the case? Riker wasn't in this episode much. Shaw's glee at Picard and Riker possibly getting in trouble, and Seven, like, he's just so cheery that they're going to get in the shit, which I really enjoyed.
Do you mind?
Oh, sorry. Just feeling chipper. Not because you're about to have your asses handed to you now. Just chipper.
He's like the anti-Pike. Like, he's Pike's so supportive and really enthusiastic, and you have the sense that he'll try and understand everyone. Shaw's just a bit like, "I don't care. You guys did something wrong. You're getting in trouble. That is the best thing." It was just a funny, like, little character moment. Jack Crusher, obviously, as I said before, was having visions of him killing the bridge crew and of him seeing those vine things again, his eyes turning red and the door, and we don't really see where that goes. In terms of, obviously, Ro comes on, Ro and Picard talk, and she goes, "Starfleet's basically, it penetrated. There's 1,000,001 changelings in there. She's been working with these two agents, which is obviously Raffi and Worf. And it's a really interesting sort of, oh, okay, Ro's back, da-da-da. And then we get to sort of later in the episode where Ro's on a shuttle and the changelings set a bomb in there and then they get off. And then we see the death of Ro Laren.
Ro?
I'm okay with this death. Like, I loved Ro Laren as a character. and I loved her in TNG, and I think she was brilliant here. Her and Picard managed to get that sort of understanding, and they talked, and it was really, really good to have her back. Having her die raises the stakes a little. So it's like having a main character die, but she's not a main character anymore. So it's kind of like, oh, no one's safe. My theory is Picard's going to die at the end of the season. Now, hands down, either Picard's going to die or someone from the TNG crew big is going to die. So Crusher's still investigating the changelings. This is a different type of changeling where they can mimic the inside of human bodies as well as the outside.
This changeling could pass the traditional blood test. So what does that mean?
She calls it evolution, which seems very, very quickly if you know evolution. And it's an interesting thing. Like, if they can't tell who is, like, they're essentially the same person other than DNA. And I quite enjoyed that. And she was talking about how if you cut it, and they showed this nice thing where they cut like a tiny piece and then that suddenly falls to a liquid form. That was really interesting. Certainly, the crux of the end of the episode is there could be changelings anywhere, probably on the other starship ship. Ro tells them to get the hell out of there, run away. You need to fight this. And there's a nice resolution to Ro and Picard's character. And he sort of talks about what they meant to each other. And I seem to remember someone talking about how it seemed like they had a romantic interest for each other, but I don't know whether that's just in my head or not. Otherwise, this is a really, really great episode. And look, this season has had a lot of good episodes. The story's still building, and it's still surprising me and adding amazing things to it. Certainly, this episode was very much focused on Picard and Ro, and very much on the changelings. Jack finally starts telling Bev that that there's something wrong with him and something's going wrong. So hopefully we get some resolution to that. The curiosity around Jack Crusher seems quite weird, and she talks about him having nightmares as a child. So it'll be interesting to see in terms of where that progresses. Foundation Day obviously seems to be big and important. Overall, it was a great episode. I think one of the best of the season. I haven't actually seen an episode I absolutely disliked, other than the first episode. But with that padding, it's working really, really well. What did you think? Make sure to write it down in the comments. Let's have a discussion. Make sure to share, like, and comment. And I hope to see you back next week on Trek Trav.